Morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We take a look at the forecast that's going to include two storms, one pretty small storm that could lead to just some slightly slick conditions tomorrow morning, and then a more significant storm Friday into Saturday that still has a bunch of questions with it. Not quite ready to give you a snowfall forecast on the Friday night into Saturday, but tomorrow morning I'll definitely have that out for you. So lots of details. Want to go through what's going on here. Let's take a look at what's happening here across the country. First of all, here's the system that's going to come through with some light snow to start. We'll definitely mix with some sleet here across southern Vermont. With this initial system, it is somewhat moisture starved, although it's going to start to try to get itself going a little bit, tap a little bit of Atlantic moisture. There is a little bit of, most of this moisture is going to wait for the next storm, but a little bit of this moisture from the southwest is also, or from the southwest of us, but actually from the southeast, I should say, is going to try to get involved in this storm as well. And then here we have lots of upper level energy, lots of moisture building across Texas. This system is going to come together, develop a big, strong system over the Mississippi River Valley. Originally, it looked like maybe this would just be a coastal storm, but once again, we're having a storm that's going to go to the west, but then redevelop. It looks like this is going to redevelop a little earlier, but the trend in the models has been when that happens, they overdo the precipitation. So I'm a little bit hesitant. That's why I'm a little bit hesitant to give a snowfall map today. Right now, the models will be putting out a pretty good sized snowstorm. I think we'll see plowable snow out of this, but a couple questions. Do we mix with sleet Friday night to Saturday, and exactly how much precipitation really falls? Both of those are still very much in question, and I'd like to get one more day of data to kind of really see at least what the storm track is probably going to be, and then try to extrapolate from the models. So like I said, the models have been doing a bad job with these systems that are transforming. Yesterday was a good example. I went low on the snowfall, like snow and sleet or snowfall forecast, and still was about 2 inches too high, at least here, where I thought we'd get at least 4 or 5 inches of snow. We ended up about 2. Yeah, so it's been these systems. We've had a lot of these this winter, and they have mostly underperformed where the system rides up the Mississippi River Valley and then transfers energy to the East Coast. It is possible some winters and definitely some patterns we get that happen, and we still get significant snow. It's not impossible, but for a bunch of reasons this winter, that has not really happened. It's been coastal lows have not been developing nearly as strong and nearly as quickly as they would need to make that happen. Okay, radar-wise, we can kind of see what's going on here. We've got a little bit of a low-pressure system here. This is the one that's going to race across kind of over our area tonight. It's going to give us a little bit of snow and then mix with some sleet. Tomorrow, we're going to give you a lot of details on this. And then this system back here is going to kind of hang for a while, and eventually this is all going to redevelop into a much bigger storm back here across the southern plains. Let's take a look at what's going to be happening. Whoops, sorry, that's one slide too far. This evening, you kind of have this low pressure system. This is probably a bit exaggerated on exactly how big that warm front is, but there's a bit of a boundary moving north, and that's going to lead to a lot of the models do indicate a little area of light snow. I don't think this will be enough to even really accumulate on the road. So even though this evening, it looks like it's snowing across southern Vermont, and it is, I think it's mostly flurries, and I think for the most part, roads will be just a little greasy. Probably want to just be aware of that, but nothing to really be too concerned about. Now, tomorrow morning, this gets a little more significant. The system swings to our south. It does allow some warmer air to move in, so I think most of us across southern Vermont are a mix of mostly sleet and snow, maybe a little bit of rain mixed in as well. Temperatures are pretty marginal for snow on this system. Snow is confined to more northern areas. Eventually, this really only adds up to a coating. The system does start to strengthen a little bit. Northern Maine could get some more snow out of this, in northern New Hampshire. But I think for here in southern Vermont, this is really just a coating to about an inch of a slushy mix. So not really, but enough, and it is going to be happening. The heaviest of the precipitation happens overnight or late overnight into Thursday morning. So I do think it could be a little slick on Thursday morning. I don't think we'll see any delays or anything school-wise with that. Not impossible, but I think it's pretty unlikely. But it could be a little slippery, especially if you're getting out of the house early tomorrow morning before the road crews get a chance to go and lay some salt down and do like one pass with a plow just to kind of scrape it off. Let's take a look at the storm highlights for the first system. Precipitation will be light with the exception of a brief period of moderate precipitation Thursday morning. Precipitation starts around 6 p.m., ends around 8 a.m. again tomorrow morning. There'll be a lot of area time in there where it's not really doing anything. It's very light overnight. The moderate precipitation will fall as a mix of snow and sleet. Total accumulations of a coating to an inch of slush. I think that's basically everywhere. No real enhancement for the higher elevations. Road conditions could be slick early Thursday morning, so you should just be aware of that. Then we get into, going the wrong direction here. Our system for Friday. Now here's our system. You will notice that it already is well developed, has a lot of precipitation, and already has is showing some signs of redevelopment off the coast as early as Friday midday before it gets snowing here. What's happened a lot of times is these systems this winter have waited a little longer to transfer energy. This one looks like it's going to do it earlier, and that would be the kind of system that would potentially give us more snow and help lock in snow better. But again, I'm a little bit hesitant to go too crazy with that because this system is following a similar path to many systems this winter, and a lot of these systems have underperformed both from they've mixed with more sleet than we expected, and they have underperformed from the amount of liquid equivalent precipitation that has fallen from them. Oops, once again, going the wrong direction. Friday overnight, so by Friday overnight, here the system really is trying to transfer energy offshore, and if it happens at this pace, we will get a pretty good snowstorm out of this. We're going to have an area of mix developing here across northern Pennsylvania. That will move in our direction. Like I said, there is a chance we mix with some sleet. The models have trended away from that, but we'll have to keep an eye on it. This system needs to die kind of quickly and allow this system to really get going if we're going to really get the snow in. What's happened a lot of times, what happens if this system doesn't die, we get a big dry slot that moves in, and it kind of cuts off the precipitation. All the best forcing stays kind of with either system, and it doesn't really allow for significant heavy precipitation to develop over southern Vermont. And these west to east movers, generally the terrain is against us, as most of the terrain enhancement actually happens over the Adirondacks, which kind of limits how much snow falls over the greens. It's not entirely true, but that's sort of what has happened a lot of times this winter. Again, just because that's happened this winter doesn't mean this system will do that, but it does bear watching because a lot of systems have done that. All right, so under the models right now, what they want to do, and this is probably still the most likely scenario, by Saturday midday, they really do have the upper level system really dying out and transferring all of its energy to the coastal system. And that does allow for some wraparound, decent snow, gets us into a potentially good snow band on Saturday morning. Now, the question will be, does sleet make its way up here on Saturday morning? And the faster this transfers, the less likely that is. Right now, the models want to keep us mostly out of the sleet, a little bit of sleet in very southern portions of Vermont, and pretty limited. But under this scenario, we would get a pretty good snowstorm. Not ready for totals yet because I'm not positive that that's going to really happen that way. So I want to give you a quick look at the highlights for the second storm there. Snow begins between 7 and 10 p.m. Snow ends between about 2 and 5 p.m. on Saturday afternoon. Snow will fall moderate to heavy with plowable accumulations. I do think we'll see plowable accumulations. I think we're very likely to see more snow out of this system than we saw out of the system that happened yesterday. Snow, and it was pretty slippery out there yesterday. Snow could mix with some sleet Saturday morning. How much that happens will be part of what determines accumulations. Also, how quickly the energy transfers and allows us to stay in heavier snow will play a big role in that. Roads will be slick on Saturday. It's going to be tough travel on Saturday. All right, that's a lot of details. Don't want to go too long with this forecast, but I do want to encourage you, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel before, please do so. It helps make sure you don't miss any of the videos, especially when I have lots of weather stuff going on and I'm getting these videos out to you regularly. And also, want to give a quick shout out to my patrons. They help support what I do here at the West River Weather Guy. They get a preview of a weekend forecast. So this afternoon, they'll get a weekend forecast. They'll get another update on this storm that goes out just to them on Wednesdays. That's one of the things that you get for being a patron. And so if you're interested in becoming a patron, there's a link in the description below that has all the details. All right, thanks. I'll be back tomorrow morning. I'll have a snowfall map for you tomorrow morning for the Friday to Saturday storm. Even if I'm not 100% confident that it's going to be what it's going to be at that point, I'll have one out for you to give you an idea. All right, thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow.